Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 259 of the MTGGoldfish podcast. I'm Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and we have the full crew here this week, kicking things off with the owner of MTGGoldfish, Richard. What's up this fine Monday, Richard?
Hey, Seth. It's going well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. We got some fun topics to talk about today. I'm kind of excited for this, but before we get into all that, we have a co-host in Krim. What's up today, Krim?
Morning, Seth. Well, we got some Double Master stuff and a lot of other things going on too. So
today is the start of Double Master's official spoiler season. We had some early previews and so forth, but today's official start of spoiler season. So Double Master spoilers, that's kind of topic one. There's been a big conversation about the Double Master's VIP boosters over the past week since the price tag came out, and there's been a big debate about that. So we wanted to talk about that a little bit, and those are really our only main topics. There's not a whole lot outside of Double Masters going on in Magic right now. And then, of course, answer some fish mail. So that is the plan for the cast today. But before we get to that, a reminder that our show today is brought to you by Card Conduit. And if you have ever struggled with the hassle and the time it takes to sell your Magic cards, it is a lot of work. I have done it a lot of times. I have spent entire weekends sorting Magic cards to sell them from buy lists. It is not a whole lot of fun. Card Conduit is the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. They basically take all the hassle away. All you gotta do is ship your cards to them. Card Conduit, brought to you by the folks at Card Hoarder, and they will sort, grade, and sell your Magic cards for you. And once your shipment is processed, you'll get the proceeds minus their fee. And right now, you can avoid all that hassle and get a 10% discount by going to cardconduit.com/goldfish. So thank you so much to Card Conduit for supporting the cast today. And let's talk new Magic cards. Let's just start off with, I guess, Double Master spoilers. We got some cards to talk about today. Richard, guide us through some new Magic cards.
All right. We were saved. We were saved, guys. We were starting the cast, and we're like, what was revealed this morning? And it was a bunch of Comet Storms. But literally, as Seth was doing the intro, we got some more Double Masters cards, which are more exciting. So I'm going to start with those. Are you a dirty Tron player in Modern? Now you can get box topper Tron lands. So Urza's Tower, Urza's Power Plant, Urza's Mine, reprinted in Double Masters, and there's sweet new art in the Double Masters box topper VIP booster art version. Ink Moth Nexus, Glimmer Void, some solid lands, Karn Liberated with new art, really strange looking art. I don't know where he's what plane is this? What is going on? I don't know. So yeah, those are the new exciting cards. And then we got some, dare I say, bulk rares in Champion of Lambolt, Grim Lava Man, Boon Reflection, Thought Reflection, Reclamation Sage, Expedition Map, Baleful Strix, Conjurer's Closet, and I think we also got a couple cards from the box itself. We have Dark Confidant, and then Wormcoil and Brea. We already knew? No, we didn't know Brea. We knew Atraxa. So Brea and Wormcoil, right?
Yeah, so those are ones that haven't technically been confirmed, but that appears to be what's on the art of the booster packs for Double Masters. So pretty confident that Brea, Wormcoil, and Dark Confidant are in, but we haven't seen the actual cards themselves yet, just their art on booster packs. I gotta say, I'm pretty glad we got Karn. I was actually a little disappointed with the start of spoiler season and the number of bulk rares we got this morning. So seeing Karn, and also, I guess, the Tron lands to a lesser extent, at least there's some good cards in there. What do you think about these box stoppers? So Wizards, this is something that's been kind of on my mind today. Wizards, when they announced the box toppers in the VIP packs, they basically said that all the box toppers would be rares or mythics. One of their calling cards was like, hey, you'll at least get 4 rares and mythics out of your VIP packs because you're going to get 2 normal rares or mythics, and then you'll also get these 2 box topper rares and mythics. And then we started to actually get the rest of the box toppers outside of the ones they revealed a month ago. And so far we've seen all 3 Tron lands, which are commons in the normal set. Also, Expedition Map, which is a common in the normal set. What do you think about all these commons showing up as box toppers?
I'm looking at the mana at the set symbol. It clearly says rare on Urza's Power Plant. So Wizards is not pulling a fast one. It is a rare. It is a rare. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Wizards, it's kind of like, what's our most recent set? Which I've forgotten already, M21, where they're like, okay, the alternate, showcase cards or whatever are some of your favorite rares and mythics, and then cards we think players will find valuable, right? So that's what these Urza lands are, because otherwise you would never get promo Urza lands. So I think it's fine. Like, I don't think it's any different than if they just put Comet Storm in there and like, yeah, it's a rare, but it's bulk and no one cares. So I think it's fine that they choose cards that are of lower rarity that, they know are format staples.
Yeah. I mean, the Tron lands aren't the worst thing, but I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about these Tron lands.
I mean, the map is questionable, right? Like, the Tron lands are iconic, the Expedition map, but I mean, can you just totally like have promo Tron now? Like 100% all expensive premium VIP cards?
I mean, you're pretty close now. You got the Tron lands. We just got Karn. There's like a promo Ugin. It was a buy a box promo. So you can kind of go like full on promo Tron at this point.
So we need is Ancient Stirrings box topper. Is that what you're telling me, Seth?
Oh,
that might happen at this point.
Please no. It's going to be interesting to see how the value on these shakes out. I'm actually really curious. I mean, obviously, even though the Tron lands are commons, even though Expedition Map is a common, they are cards that are in demand. Expedition Map is a staple in Commander. It's like one of the 30 most played colorless cards in the whole format, and you're going up against like the Soul Rings and Arcane Signets of the world. So it is like a true staple in Commander. Tron obviously has been a top tier modern deck forever. It's been a top tier Pauper deck forever, even though we'll see how it shakes out post bannings, but there are demand for these cards. So maybe it's fine that they're box toppers. I don't know. It just strikes me a little bit weird. I'm a little disappointed that if you buy this expensive box, in part because the box toppers are cool, rather than getting like Karns and Blightsteals and who knows what else, Jace's Force of Wills, whatever they reveal for the rest of the day, you could get like a Tron land and an Expedition Map, which I would be disappointed if those were the box toppers of my $315 box.
So would you rather have that or a box topper Thought Reflection, Boon Reflection? Right? Not every one of your box toppers is going to be, Mana Crypt, right? Like, there's going to be bad ones, and I think these Tron lands would be middle of the pack, right? They're going to be much better than whatever bulk rare or mythic is also in the set, because there's going to be bulk rare and mythics in the set, right? We got a bunch this morning already.
Oddly enough, yeah, I think I might be okay with the Expedition Map with the Tron lands. Not because I hate them.
Just so you can destroy them and remove them from the ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to throw them away as soon as I open them. No, I don't know. Something about the Tron lands, because like what? So you don't even get all three.
Oh,
right?
Well, that's perfect for you.
If you got one of them. Oh yeah, no. That would be great for me if I ever played Tron lands.
I mean, the other thing with Tron lands is that's 3 slots that are eaten up by these cards. When I saw Expedition Map, my initial reaction was, I thought these were all going to be rares or mythics. That's a little bit weird. Feels a little bit bait and switchy to me. But I actually think the Expedition Map is going to be fairly expensive just because there is a lot of demand. There isn't another like cool promo printing. So I actually think value-wise, Expedition Map is actually going to be a solid box topper. The Tron lands though, there's only 40 box toppers. 3 Tron lands, that's just under like 10% of all the box toppers are going to be Tron lands. That is, I don't know. That makes me a little bit more concerned. I will agree that I don't really want to get Boon Reflections or Thought Reflections. Like, that's a very useless box topper. At least Tron lands do see play. And even if I don't play them, someone is going to trade for my copy or buy my copy because people do play them pretty heavily. So I guess it's better than having a full-on bulk rare. Not as exciting as having, I don't know, maybe it's partly because the first 5 they revealed were so good. Doubling Season, Blightsteel, Atraxa, Kalia, Mana Crypt. It was like, wow, they're gonna like nail it with these box toppers. And then today it's been Tron lands and Expedition Map and Karn, which is a lot less exciting for the next 5.
The Karn one, I like as see that's great, but like the artwork is a little
Iceman.
fun.
I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, he looks just like a block of ice that's like looks like a Pokemon almost.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of very unique art for sure. I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not. I haven't figured that out yet. But I mean, at least it's a valuable card. Like, people are going to want that card. I would not be disappointed to open it, even though I do agree the art a little bit.
I think I would pay premium for OG art. I don't know about this. I'm not a big fan of this new card. Like, the proportions make him look small. Like, he's not like this towering, imposing silver gold. It's just like, I don't know, like a sidekick character running around. I don't know. I think this is perspective or something. I'm not sure.
He looks skinny.
I know that
he's like very skinny and like, I don't know.
He skipped leg day. His bicep is like the size of his quads.
I mean, I guess this is still better at the end of the day than the, what is it, the Mythic Edition version of Karn, whatever, the 4-mana one from Dominaria, where it looks like he's just like rubbing his own nipples.
Crim and nipples. I've never had a podcast co-host bring up nipples as often as Crim.
Dude. Like, look at the Mythic Edition art of Karn and just and like, the only thing is this time, instead of his arms going in, they're going out, and he's like, hey, so like, you can almost do like a flip action comic if you have like enough of them.
Ooh, we have more late breaking news, Richard. I don't know. Did you see the new card that was literally just previewed as we're talking?
Oh, yes.
It's another good one.
It's another Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah!
But it's the same art, Jace the Mind Sculptor.
I mean,
don't they have like exactly
this is iconic
artwork?
artwork.
Or like the full border, what do you call this? Like the extended art? The full, no.
Yeah, extended
Do we have
art.
one like this for Jace already? Am I just making this up? No, this is new?
You might have seen it before, because for a while a lot of people got their Jaces like extended, like altered art. Like, they would drop it off for artists, and I've seen tons of that.
But it's
too.
the iconic.
But this would be like,
I don't know what he's doing with his hands. It's like, to me, he's like doing a magic trick with cards. He's like throwing cards from one hand to the other. But it's the iconic Jace the Mind Sculptor art with the new frame, the new box topper frame.
I'm actually pretty okay with that. The art is so iconic, and we haven't had this border treatment yet. So they've said there would be one of the box toppers that was going to keep the old art. Jace seems like a pretty decent choice, especially since the one new art that Jace got, I'm trying to remember what set, the Mythic Edition one. I thought that art was pretty blah. Like, I'm not actually like a big fan of how the art looked on that one. So I would rather have the iconic Jace art than kind of questionable new Jace art, I think.
I don't know. I might be a fanboy, but I think I also love the new art. So, I mean, I get different printings, so this is pretty cool. Like another like extended artwork, but like I like the newer art, the Mythic Edition one. I mean, I know that the colors are a little bit darker. You know what I mean? Like when you look at everything and it's harder to tell what's going on, but still like it.
I mean, obviously, discounting art and all that, it's a great reprint. Like, Jace is a card that we can always use more of. It's still around $100, even though it has been reprinted a few times. I think the last time was 25th Masters, maybe. So yeah, definitely not going to complain about getting more Jaces out there. Just so hopefully the price comes down a little bit. Maybe people can pick up their copies a little bit cheaper than they could in the past. That makes me feel better, because I've been defending Double Masters for a long time now, and I really truly believe that master sets are one of the best ways to get more cards out there for Constructed and bring down prices of cards for Constructed. But this morning, seeing just like a string of Boon Reflections, multiple cards that were just reprinted at Jumpstart in Champion of Lamb 1 Grimlavamancer, common box toppers, I was like, oh no, are they actually going to find a way to mess this up? But seeing the Karn and the Jays, I'm breathing a little bit easier now.
I don't know why people are so surprised. Like, Wizards clearly has like a giant spreadsheet, right? And, a year or two ago when they designed this set, they know how much value they're putting in the set. And my guess is that number is constant across like all of their product types. They're like, look, we're making a premium product. It needs to have at least this much of value and this much of quote unquote desirability, right, for it to sell. So the only question is, when they make that judgment, until it's released, like how much does the market change, right? Like did Jace the Mind Sculptor quadruple in price or like half in price since they made that determination? But when Wizards sets out to make these products, they know that they're charging like 2x the price, so they have to put 2x the value in. So I don't think that it's rational to be afraid that it's only going to be Comet Storms, right? Like I'm sure Wizards will put in high value cards and they'll choose cards that people want. So yeah, I don't know. The EV of these usually works out. And then if they miss, it's fine because the stores adjust the EV of the product anyway. And then here we are. So I don't know. I'm not too afraid like if this is going to be low value or high value. I think Wizards usually has a formula and they hit the mark on that usually.
I think they've improved. I think with the bad Masters sets we had, Masters 25 and Iconic Masters, I think I think you're exactly right about like the spreadsheet having a certain amount of value. But the thing that Wizards I think underestimated or didn't take into consideration is how some cards are expensive because there's a lot of demand, like Jace the Mind Sculptor. Lots of people want it, so the price is high. Some cards are expensive because they're really low supply. So I think part of why those two master sets flopped is the big value cards were like Imperial Recruiter, a card that was like, oh my god, it's like $300 or something, but it's $300 because it was in Portal and there's like 10 copies available in the whole world. So it was really difficult to get them, and the price crashed so much that the value ended up being a lot worse than maybe their spreadsheet would suggest. But I feel like Wizards maybe learned that lesson from those two sets and now takes that into consideration a little bit more. Anyway, so any other thoughts on Double Masters in general? Reprint sets are always like a little bit weird because it's not like we can do this might go in this deck. We know where Jace the Mind Sculptor goes. We know where Karn and Tron lands go. Like, we're not going to tell you anything new about them. Any other thoughts on the cards that we've seen from the set so far before we talk mystery boosters? Or rather VIP boosters?
I think like, so I want to like just guess at a few other cards because that like, I mean, I'm hoping like Counterbalance gets a new printing. By the way, that's all I'm asking for.
Krim wants to eat
I'm
up
trying
a box
to, Yep. Just if I could, just a Counterbalance there or something would be really.
Don't we
cool.
have a masterpiece Counterbalance? Wasn't that like a Amonkhet Invocation or whatever those were?
Yes, but as cool as funny as that one is, I do like it because it's like you can't really read it, nor can you tell what's going on because is this which box top or which invocation is this? Well, like because I play it with opposition and I play Counterbalance, so no one knows. It's hilarious, but. I do think that it would be really cool to have a non like Yu-Gi-Oh ancient god border. Like I think it would be a really cool thing to see Counterbalance again.
Yeah, the only other thing I want to mention is kind of bad beats on Wizards' end for the Noah Bradley lands. Like they reprinted the full art lands with the new border, and obviously Noah Bradley makes really good looking art, so they look good. But boy, is that timing really unfortunate that that the set's coming out like a month after all the Noah Bradley stuff and Wizards parting ways with him and that whole situation. So I can't really blame Wizards. They've already like done what they needed to do in that scenario. It's just a little bit unfortunate timing wise. I think that these would be like the big like full art lands from the set and it would be happening right now.
Okay, can I use this opportunity to rant about these lands?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Well, not the Noah Bradley. Who cares about the Noah Bradley? Even the John Avon land. So they revealed the two full art cycles are the John Avon and the Noah Bradley lands, and they tried to scoop the Noah Bradley lands under the rug. But so it's the old art from what is the unset of John Avon? Unglued.
I think it's
Unglued?
unglued.
Unhinged.
Unhinged.
Whatever. The good one, right? Like the good ones that you all know when you think of full art lands, but with the new borders. Now, I find this incredibly lazy. If they're going to give us like new full art lands, they should just give us new art, right? Like we already have the option to pick these up, in the old set. And I understand they're expensive, but like nowadays we have like 8 billion full art lands and it like kind of detracts from the people that already have them. Like these are already collector items, right? Like if you want basics, you can go to your draft pile and pull any basics you want. So people who originally had these lands kind of get a little screwed because of the reprint. And for, players that are just buying these packs, like we already can get these, right? Like you should give us new, premium arts for these full art lands, right? Like full art lands are already, to me, not that special anymore. Like they used to be special like 5 years ago when it was like once in a millennium you get them. Now like every other set there's full art lands. So like why are we reprinting full arts? Like just give me new arts or don't put them in at all. Like reusing them seems incredibly lazy.
Yeah, I think and this might be a good segue into VIP boosters, because I think VIP boosters were like especially bad in that way, because a big percentage of the cards in VIP boosters are these full art lands, and some of them are foils, and like original foils of like the unhinged lands are actually really expensive. Some of those are like $70 or $80. So it does seem a little bit, I don't know, bad for people who have been investing in these, especially with lands. Lands is the one type of card, basic lands, where you can't really make the argument that, oh, we need these to be cheaper. Like, there is literally no difference between one you pick up at the land station or LGS and a, $100 foil unglued land or unhinged land, as far as gameplay is concerned. So it does feel a little bit weird to kind of stick it to people who spent a bunch of money to get these, like, really cool foil full art lands, by just putting a ton more out there. So I definitely agree with what you were saying on this end, Richard.
We need the reserve list for art. There needs to be a guarantee that when I buy this full art island, that this art will not be reused in the future. That if they print another island, it will be new art to, justify me spending $100 for a foil. Like, imagine if you bought, say, the Godzilla lands or something, right? And then like two sets from now, they just like print them en masse everywhere, and you're like, what WTF, Watsy? Like, why would you do this to me, right? I thought Godzilla lands were special, right? So yeah, feels bad if you foiled out your unhinged lands.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about VIP boosters. VIP boosters have been a big topic of conversation. Last week, an article went up kind of describing their contents and what was in them. We also kind of had a focus on prices, and that's where a lot of I guess the arguments have come in. So VIP boosters, if you look around the internet, big vendors like Star City Games, eBay, they're generally selling for around $100 a piece. Some places maybe a couple bucks below, some places a little bit over, but on average, say $100 for a single booster pack. And the upside of these booster packs, along with getting a bunch of foil cards, you get a bunch of the full art lands, some of them foil. You basically get 2 foil box toppers. That's the big calling point of these packs. You're guaranteed the same amount of box toppers and foil rather than non-foil as you would get from an entire booster box of Double Masters. What do you guys make of the price of VIP boosters and kind of the community's reaction? People have really been kind of freaking out over this and the cost of VIP boosters.
So the full contents are 2 foil showcase rares or mythics, 2 foils rares or mythics, 8 foil uncommons, 9 foil commons, 12 full art basics, 2 of which are foil, and then 2 foil double-sided tokens. So 33 cards plus 2 tokens for roughly $100.
I'm still not. So far, I do not care for the VIP boosters. Like, I love my promos, but I don't know if I $100 booster pack love these promos. I feel like they've got if it were me, I think I'd have to see some crazy cards to really want to go out and buy one pack for $100.
I think I actually think that they're going to have good value. I actually do. If you look at, I think it's all about the box toppers. Everything else is irrelevant for the most part. Sure, you get a few lands. Maybe you get like randomly a good rare mythic. That's fine. That's a nice bonus. But I think really you're essentially paying Wizards $100 or paying $100 to get these 2 foil box toppers. So far, while we were just talking about kind of a string of commons, like the Urza's lands, the Tron lands, and so forth, there is Jason Mind Sculptor. That's going to be well over $100 by itself. Karn
Right.
will be over $100 by itself. Even so far, we've seen like Doubling Season, Blightsteel, Atraxa, Kalia pretty close to $100, like in the 60 to 90 range for all of those. Mana Crypt is going to be, I don't even know, $200-$300, some absurd price. So I feel like you're essentially just gambling on 2 box toppers for $100. Maybe you get 2 Tron lands, and even the Tron lands, I expect they're going to be worth $20, $30, $40. They're still going to have some value just because they're rare and they come out $100 boosters. But you could hit, a Jace and a Karn or a Jace and a Mana Crypt, and you're going to get like $500, $600 out of this single booster pack. I don't know. Like,
the values are there. There is a lot of value to be had in the packs, but still, just like $100 booster pack. I don't know, something that just doesn't resonate with me. So I love Jace and I love Mana Vault and all these things, and I think that would be really cool or Mana Crypt or whatever. And I think that'd be really cool to get.
It's just high stakes gambling, right? Like a booster pack is like going to the blackjack table, putting down $1. And then the VIP edition is going to the blackjack table and putting down like $10,000 or something, right? This is just like extreme. Here's $100. I hope I crack 2, a Jace, a Karn, a Mana Crypt or something. And I hope I don't walk away with like 2 Comet Storms, right? Like, so Wizards is testing it out, right? Do people like this extreme dopamine hit, right?
Yeah.
Like you want the rush of like opening this pack, or...
Hey Richard, want to go pack war?
Flip it or rip it, VIP edition. I'm sure this will go well.
Oh look, I opened Mana Crypt.
I don't know. Right? Like what? Like you're like, oh, I need a Jace the Mind Sculptor. Let me buy a VIP edition booster. Like no, like I don't know. It's just super gambling. Like I'm not sure.
It is 100% just gambling. Like, I think that's the only reason. The reason you buy these is in hopes that you're going to open more value than you spend on them. You're not opening them to draft or even necessarily to play with. I guess maybe you like put whatever you open in your commander deck or something. But if you're trying to get cards to play with, this is not the way to do it. On the other hand, it's like those scratch off tickets. You see, sometimes I've known people who are like addicted to scratch offs, and eventually they're scratching off like $50, $100 scratch off tickets. This is the same thing. It's the same thing as a normal booster compared to these VIP boosters, like $1 scratch off ticket compared to a $50 scratch off ticket. I am not personally offended by them. I know a lot of people seem to be upset at just like $100 absolute sense. That's not right. There's something wrong with it. I kind of look at it like, I don't know. To me, being mad that someone out there is spending $100 on a booster pack is like being mad that someone out there is driving like a Lamborghini or something while I'm driving a Honda. Like, it doesn't really matter to me if people got the money that they want to gamble on $100 boosters. I don't really see how that harms me or harms the greater Magic community. If anything, they're going to be opening all these random foils from the set, chasing these box toppers that are going to filter out into the market and hopefully bring down prices for everyone. So I don't know. I don't see it as something where it's wrong to have boosters that cost $100. Would I personally buy boosters that cost $100? Maybe. I kind of am tempted to open. I really like gambling on booster packs. You probably remember that from Vegas.
Vegas, we just wake up and Seth's just like cracking booster packs for no reason in the morning. We're like, what are you doing?
Where did you get these
So
packs?
I might be tempted to open a couple just because I do enjoy that aspect of Magic, but I also might not, because $100 is a ridiculous amount of money. Like I do agree with that as well.
I've never I don't know if I would buy the $100 packs, but I know for sure that if I were to buy some kind of premium card, some promo, I usually just buy the singleton. I don't want to chance it. I'm just like, if I want Jace, I'm gonna go buy the Jace.
But the pack can have a Jace,
obviously I would have to really want
a counterbalance and the top, all in the same pack.
Oh,
you can open like your deck right there.
Let's see.
4 VIP boosters and just open Tron. You're like, I got it. I got the map. I got the Tron. I got the card.
If I open this, like the whole Tron set, I'm just gonna pretty much have to throw it into
You have
the
to play
ether
Tron
because
the
I
rest of
do
your
not
life. It was meant for you.
I don't like if the rest of the box toppers are really really sweet, then maybe like, but I'm trying to think of like what are some box toppers that would actually make me shell out that $100 premium.
Yeah.
And I really can't think of many that aren't reserveless.
I mean, Force of Will would be a good one.
Yeah.
I think that could be added to the list. What about like Tarmogoyf's Dark Confidant? Those are ones that I'm kind of expecting. The ones that we saw on the booster pack art. So like Wormcoil, Dark Confidant, Brea, maybe? Are those enough to actually get you excited?
If there's a little bit more EDH, I guess, yeah. Like, I mean, I could also see like Liliana of the Veil in there, right? Because I'm thinking of like the popular cards that have been in other master sets, and I guess that would get me kind of excited. But
Boon Reflection.
Boon Reflection, yes. Snap by.
So I will say,
hope I just get a pack
Wizards
full
is
of
going
them.
too far with this, and like from a mathematical perspective, it's probably fine, right? Like stores will open these packs, they will sell back the promos. It'll probably be like break even or small profit EV. It'll probably be all fine, but it does say something about the image of Magic, right? Like, yes, you could drive to Safeway in your Lambo or your Civic, but when you roll up to Safeway in your Lambo, it's like a statement. It says something about you and it gives off a certain impression, right? And if the impression of Magic the Gathering is like rich people game, which it already is, but like it's just furthering it, right? And like, it just like creates this distance. Like if you worked at McDonald's, could you afford to play Magic the Gathering, right? If your impression is $100 boosters, then heck no, right? You would just like nope away immediately. So I think it does say something about the image of it. It does say something when everyone complains that, hey, this is too expensive, even though the product is not for you. If this is everything that's being marketed and all the new hype comes around this and it's not for you, like, is this game for you, right? So I think it's that imagery and like the fact that people can't afford it rubs them the wrong way. And I do think they're going a bit far with this, that yes, mathematically it's okay. And in reality, the stores are the ones that are going to be buying this. But, just the image it gives off is not good.
I think that's an interesting point, and maybe doubly so right now, because the whole loot box conversation has been like a big thing recently with some like European countries outlawing them. And even though all booster packs are pretty loot boxy, the collector booster packs, they are in some sense even more loot boxy, because you really are buying them to get these 2 box toppers and hope that those 2 box toppers are worth more money than you've spent. They are even a little bit more loot boxy, I think, than a typical booster box. So that's another case where, yeah, the perception probably isn't good in the image it presents. And it might be even worse right now with everyone focusing on loot boxes and kids buying loot boxes and all this stuff, because I'm pretty sure Magic does not want to get caught up in that. And so far in the US, they've always consistently ruled that stuff like Magic sports cards is different. It doesn't fall under any gambling restrictions. But I could imagine a world where Wizards pushes too far, and when you get to the point where you're selling $100 or $500 or $1,000 booster packs, it's a lot harder to argue that it is gameplay based, that you're opening boosters because you're going to play draft with them or add them to your decks. It becomes much more like real gambling, I think, from the outside if you're looking in. So I think there is some risk there too as well, that Wizards could, if they go too far, end up getting caught up in all this loot box stuff that's going on.
I'm curious, would it have been too ridiculous if this pack was $60? I think it'd been a lot like ridiculous. Is that too low? Because
I mean, does that make it any better though? Like, are people going to complain less or have it be less gambling if it's 60 instead of 100?
Not the gambling part. I mean, it'll always be that to some extent with like these premium booster packs, but like, I don't know, something about the $100. That's not even like double like a collector's booster, right? Like, I mean, collector's boosters are like 30, and I mean, granted for standard sets, so I guess sure, but I don't know. It's like Richard had mentioned, there is something weird that just it like image wise also of like $100.
Yeah, so they could have like either made it like $50 or they could have halved the quantities, right? It could be one foil showcase, one foil rare, and be 50. I don't know if it would make it any better, but like imagine if you could only buy, a standard expansion boosters in cases, right? So same price, but you have to buy a case, right? Like that's kind of what Wizards did here by just doubling the quantities of everything and forcing you into the $100. Maybe it would have been a better move to sell half of the cards, but $50, just half the price, even though effectively it's the same price. It's just, in an absolute sense, lower barrier. Like, would you feel better if you got 2 boosters for 100 instead of 1 booster for 100? Like, does that affect you psychologically?
I actually think that is a very good point, because I think this is actually happening with Double Masters itself. So many people are also focused on the like $15, $16 price of a Double Masters booster pack being too high for a booster pack, which is roughly where some past master sets have been. The thing is, you're getting 2 of everything. And I actually went back and like did some calculations as far as how much value comes from foils and rares in mythics, which are what you're getting double of in these sets. And it's like 90% of the value from a booster pack comes from those cards, not from the commons and uncommons. So theoretically, a single Double Masters booster is like 1.9 Ultimate Masters boosters or Masters 25 boosters. Like you're getting very close to 2 packs worth of value for the price of 1. So that would mean at $15, it's kind of like you're buying 2 packs that are like $7.50 or $8. They're just stapled together and you have to buy 2. And if Wizard come out and said, we're selling this master set for $7.50, people would be ecstatic. That looks like a huge price decrease compared to what they were paying for past master sets. People would be super excited, but because it's this 2-pack jammed together thing, people are flipping out about the price being too high, because it does take a lot more thinking and like math to actually like think about it that way. It is more in absolute sense. So I actually think you're really right, Richard, that if Wizards probably did themselves a big disservice, both with VIP packs and with normal packs, with the Double Masters theme, rather than just having the same set but having the packs separately, I think it would have went over much better with the community.
You know what this reminds me of? So we have the quarter pounder. Is quarter pounder like a universal thing? So for people who don't know, it's a
lot of McDonald's, Richard. You hungry?
It's a beef patty with a quarter pound of beef, and then people released a 1/3 pounder. Okay, 1/3, which is bigger than a quarter pounder, but it was like a massive flop because most people thought it was smaller than a quarter pounder because math is hard, right? So like there is like some psychological aspect to this that you need to play into, that it's just not hard math, which maybe Wizards is dropping the ball on, right? Like they need to know that marketing wise, like I think Seth's point of, if you release a master product at $7.50 a pack, people will be ecstatic, right? Even though it's literally what they're doing right now, right? So the optics of it is actually really important. So yeah, maybe they need better marketing, right? Like, or at least better manipulation of the subreddit, right? Because like you can like guess what the reaction is before you see any of it, right? Like it's pretty predictable. So the fact that Wizards can't control it is a little awkward, right? Like they should be able to pander to the subreddit in some form to not have all these, outraged people every single time they announce an announcement.
Well, it's going to be an interesting couple weeks of spoilers for sure. I'm going to be very curious to see how this all shakes out. Any other thoughts on Double Masters VIP boosters, or is it fish mail time?
All right, one last question. Do you guys think this is the ceiling? Like we've slowly gotten more expensive over time, right? We got Mythic. First we had SDCC promos. Then we had Mythic Edition. Master set was also fairly recent. Now we have Double Masters. Do you think we're going to get triple masters or even more premium? Marlo's fingernails cost a lot to produce. So, do you think we're going to get even more premium, or do you think this is kind of it?
I guess I hope this is the ceiling. But will it be the last time? No, probably not.
So I would have said it's definitely not the ceiling. After seeing the reaction and the level of the freak out about Double Masters and VIP boosters, I'm not as confident now, but I still think it's not the ceiling. I still think we're heading towards where like the high-end sports cards are going, where you buy, like I'm looking right now, there's this company called Panini that does sports cards. See what this sounds like. They sell 2 card booster packs, and this is just one of their products. There's some that are more expensive than this. 2 card booster packs for $150. You get literally 2 cards. One of them, is a rookie autograph patch. The other one is a memorabilia card, so a piece of a jersey or whatever, a bat, a hockey stick. So you're getting 2 cards for $150. I could definitely see Wizards going that direction and continuing. I mean, we're very close to that with, yes, there's a bunch of other foils and stuff thrown into the VIP boosters, but that's really what Wizards is, I think, basically trying to emulate. Like, you get 2 box toppers, you pay us $100, good luck, hopefully you hit, the Jason, not the Tron lands.
So you are thinking that we are going to get Maro's fingernails, LSV's like old donut or something like that.
I want LSV's mustache from that one Pro Tour where he had the cop stash with Kipler and the Bonfire of the Damned. I would, if they could put that on a Magic card, I would buy a lot of packs, even at $150.
Oh man. Yeah, last question before we move on. Do you think the complaints are real this time? So the thing that gives me zero faith in any of this is every single time Wizards announces a new premium product, people are outraged. It is the end of the world. The pitchforks are out. And then they buy it all up when it releases. It's like the greatest selling product of all time. And it gives Wizards the ammo to like take it up a notch the next time. So do you think this will be a successful product? Do you think people will specifically buy out the VIP boosters and that it'll be a smashing success even though everyone complained, but then on the other side took out their wallet and bought everything anyway?
I think the regular packs will be a success. I'm okay with those. The $15 price tag, sure, right? But the $100 ones, I don't know. Maybe like Seth will buy it all. Who knows?
I think that they will sell really well. I don't know how many of them will be bought by players, but my expectation of the VIP boosters is that the EV is going to be really high. And once people with a lot of money that do like finance stuff / stores, that side of the community actually calculates the EV and is like, wow, every one of these open on average that I spent $100 on, I'm getting $150. From that perspective, from like a financing investment perspective, that's a slam dunk. That's more than you're going to make in the stock market. So I think it'll sell really well because that side of the community is going to crack a ton of those for financial reasons, even though I imagine not too many of your like average Joe players are going to be buying $100 boosters.
Yeah, I actually think they will sell very well. And I think average Joe players will buy them. Like not like average like kitchen table Joe players, but someone like Seth, right? Like he's not a store. He's not like trying to make profit, but he just like, because the EV will be good, it's like, a free roll, quote unquote, right? So I do think there will be a surprisingly large number of those people, right? Like if you knew the EV of one of these packs was like, plus 20% or plus 10%, you could just go crack it if you were looking for some promos, because you could just sell back the promos, because I do think the foil box hoppers will sell, right? And if they sell, the only place to get them is like from here. So then these things must also sell. So even though people are lamenting about the price, I do think that these will actually sell.
Yeah, that's my expectation too. I'll probably have to buy one. If the EVs, you described me perfectly, Richard. If the EVs does it, I can justify it because I'm like, I'll get my money back and I like doing it. So, yeah, if the EV's good, I'll probably buy a couple. Maybe I'll let me know in the comments. Do you want to see maybe we can do the most expensive booster pack opening of all time. Just like get a case or something and do a video of it. That would be kind of fun.
Real question. Would you rather open equivalent price of this or like revised boosters or something, like some old product where you could buy expensive packs?
I mean, I guess I've purchased revised packs, right? Or no, wait, unlimited packs. Actually, hold on, revised is like $1 bajillion, right?
Wait, so what is $100 booster pack? Like what are the sets that we're talking about for older Magic?
The one with like, I guess Portal 3 Kingdoms was like, and Legends was like 200, right?
Okay, so we're below Legends and Portal 3 Kingdoms.
Yeah, you're probably going to be looking at like maybe Urza's block, something like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Would people rather open some Urza's block packs or a VIP booster?
Okay.
VIP, I think at this point. I don't know.
So yeah, Urza Saga is around the same price on eBay, going for like around $100 or something like that. So yeah, that's about the right era. I mean, if you go back to like Revised and stuff, I think it's even more than that. I guess Revised is like around 150 to 200. So I guess you could almost crack a Revised.
So double
pack.
masters. So you gotta get 2 of them.
But I think I would get more use out of the double masters cards. Like that's kind of the thing. I know like Revise in some of those older sets, their EV's not actually that high. Like you're likely to lose money cracking them open because a lot of their price is just how scarce they are and like they're super rare. I remember at one point,
moat or bust.
Do you remember when we were looking into like I think it was Fallen Empires or Homelands, Richard, and the EV was like when you exclude everything as like under $1, the EV was like $0, but it was still like $100 or something for a booster box. You're like, I don't know if I could open a 0 EV booster box for $100.
Ruined my dreams of owning a sealed box of Fallen Empires. I wanted to draft it just for the lulz, but like no.
Is there what is even in Fallen Empires that is like,
nothing? Him the Torok.
Yeah.
The set is actually worthless, but sealed product is like super rare and expensive.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, let's answer some fish mail before we run out of time of our short cast.
All right. If you have questions, send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail, and we'll get to your questions on air. First question from Sandy via email. Aren't fetch lands just really powerful spells that shouldn't be reprinted in mass? Hear me out. I know the format staples, but fetch lands are really powerful for the cost of 1 life. It's like the same as playing a brainstorm or a lightning bolt, things like that. So Sandy doesn't think they should be cheap or free. What do you guys think?
I do think they should be reprinted a decent amount because they're lands and you usually need them to like play in the format. I would say so. Like I've tried playing modern decks without fetch lands and you know like it's not great. It doesn't feel great. Like a lot of the cards are powered up by it too. So like they're like a super land. And I mean, as long as it's ever a land, I think there should be easy access to it.
Yeah, I could see that as an argument for not putting them in standard. Like if Sandy feels like they're too powerful for standard, I could maybe be convinced of that. I don't currently think that. I think that they're like on par with shock lands or something, as long as there aren't good dual lands to fetch in the format. But I don't think you can just not reprint them unless you're going to ban them, because that's the problem. Like the problem is the price. They are obviously really powerful, but I think you create this almost pay to win atmosphere if you never reprinted fetch lands and they just keep increasing and eventually you're paying $200 for like a single fetch land in modern decks or like $2,000. It's going to create a wider gap between the haves and have-nots and make it a lot harder for people getting into the formats to compete. So I don't think you can just not reprint them, period. If you want to not reprint them in standard and do it in master sets or battle bond or whatever, I would be okay with that, but I do think, unless you're going to ban them, which I don't think I would enjoy Modern or Legacy without fetch lands, but unless you're going to ban them, I think you got to reprint them to keep the price in check.
Yeah. I disagree with the premise. I think all dual lands, like all lands that are not special abilities, so any lands that just add colors, should be printed into the ground and widely available and not in the rare slot. So like, the worst feeling, like gameplay wise, is in limited having your rare be a dual land. Like that's like the most terrible thing ever, right? And then as a new player opening a pack, getting a dual land is also useless, right? Like you want to cast angels and dragons, but you have a land. You don't even understand why it's powerful, right? And then for everyone else, like it just sucks to spend so much money on your mana base, right? Like just getting whatever the latest standard dual land cycle is a pain. Like they should just be free, right? You should be focused on picking up Uros and Teferis and exciting cards like that, and not, you know, I need this to be more consistent in gameplay, right? Like I think that's just So I think they should be, every dual land cycle in standard should be like at common Or maybe, I don't know, they got to fix limited somehow. You don't want them to be common so that everyone plays like
uncommon.
5-color stuff. Uncommon maybe, right? And
Yeah.
then, but they're readily available, right? You don't have to spend any resources to pick up, you know, your fast lands or your temples or whatever. They should just come as is, and you can focus on Teferis and Uros, things like that. Next question, Ali Tribal. I was wondering if you had any predictions for Zendikar Rising. What mechanics do you foresee returning, and any guesses at possible new mechanics? Do you think that Rally will return, or do you think Wizards will try something new again like they did with Cohorts?
I can see Landfall coming back.
I think Landfall's that's a good bet. I would be surprised if Landfall wasn't in the set. I very much associate that with Zendikar. I also think allies are likely, they basically have to return. I'm rooting for just like old school allies, like original allies that are just like, hey, when it comes into play, it does something for all your allies. Like kind of this slivery take on allies. I wasn't a big fan of Rally or the cohort. I don't even remember what that did. I think you gotta like tap multiple creatures or something. Like that was a horrible mechanic. So I would like to see just original old school vanilla allies that work kind of like slivers.
I think they'll do something new. I don't think they reuse mechanic. I think the reused mechanic will be Landfall. I think Landfall would be much more popular, so I think they'll give you a new ally mechanic. I don't know what it would be, but
returning mechanic, Devoid. Everyone's favorite.
It's like Devoid allies. This is the deck I wanted. 5C no color allies.
I think Landfall is just too big. Like it's like the main mechanic you think of, right? When you think of Zendikar. I think it'd be really cool to see that. Considering that we also have, you know, with the way things are going, how much good ramp there is and all this other stuff.
Are you ready for the Zendikar ramp?
Yup.
Landfall? Yeah.
I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous about where Standard goes if there's just ramp city. Like but like yeah, the newest, like I'd love to see more new mechanics though, but like if there's any to return, I do want to see Landfall, and I may regret saying that, I don't know. But the thing is, I do want to see Landfall right now.
All right. Next question. Joshua Braska. How long would you keep playing Magic if WotC stopped making cards?
Honestly, for me, I think, okay. So I think I would always have like Magic cards around, and I would play games now and then. But I think if Wizards stopped making cards, my interest would drop significantly, because a huge percentage of what I enjoy about Magic is like new formats, new cards, new decks. And if all that went away, I think I would still keep Commander decks around to like play once in a while, but I think my actual like daily gameplay and brewing and all the stuff that I do on a daily basis, I think that would go away pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think I would only play like just EDH at that point, right? And it would be the same. I would then treat Magic no different than just like a board game, right? Like hey, it's Wednesday night board game night, so I'll pull out my EDH decks, and I know all the content's in it. But you know, it's fun to play with friends. So
yeah, it would be interesting. So I think I'd be like Seth. I would stop playing almost immediately. I would definitely not be buying. So if cards didn't tank in price, if for whatever reason cards were still semi-expensive, like let's say they were still half the price of what they are today, I would not buy any new cards. Right, so I would have whatever decks remain, and then if someone wants to play Magic, we can play Magic. But then otherwise, that's it. Right, it's like kind of dead game, right? So we do something else, and then so the arguments of like, oh, paper Magic is eternal and you can play forever, I don't buy that, right? Like I think the minute everyone is not hyped about Magic, the minute there's no community anymore, I think it kind of just goes away, for me personally at least. So then my cards are useless as soon as Magic is quote unquote dead. Raptor 121. Maybe what Pioneer needs is modern Panza. Zendikar should bring the land destruction.
No, but what if you just ramp into the land destruction and then ramp decks get even better?
That's literally Panza, right? You ramp into land destruction.
Yeah. But then, like, I don't know if we want ramp to be better than it already is.
I just want Stone Rain. Just give us a Stone Rain and see what happens. Let's just try it. Let's
Stone
try
Rain?
it.
Not
No,
even
no.
a pillage or something? Like a stone?
No.
Not pillage.
Just-
no. What's the non-basic one? Molten Rain?
Molten Rain. Just like
Yeah.
3 mana blow up a land. Let's just try it. Put it in a core set. It'll be the shortest run in Standard. Let's just see. Cards are so powerful these days. Is it even going to be good with Uros and Nissas and mana doublers? Like, are you even going to play it? I don't even know. Like, how good it would be.
You couldn't play a deck unless it had Uro, Nissa, and like it's already bad enough that we get, like, you know what I mean? That you have to see those cards on a daily. Like, I do not want it to be where the format you just cannot play. Like, why have like, unless they give it to, like, I don't know, like every color has a land destruction spell and scaled to, like, how, like, example, greens, it's got to be like 13 mana, because 13 is the new, like, 4 mana for green. And blue is one. Just no, but, like, in all honesty, they would have to do something like that.
I mean, Stone Rain does literally nothing. So I think it's quote unquote safe, except it just makes people feel bad sometimes. But I think it would actually be a bad card, right? Like,
No. It
but
would
sometimes
not.
you'll like Lawnmower Elf into Stone Rain, and your opponent's like, well, I kept a 2-lander and that was it. So good game, right? Other times they're like Uro, you're like Stone Rain. You're like, okay, cultivate, right? Field of Dead, you're still dead. Kill my Field of Dead, I'm still up like 5 cards. Like, so I actually don't think the card is good, but
The
it's just
card would
annoying.
be good though. It would. If you're not playing ramp, can you get back in it?
Why are you 1v1 for people, Krim? This is 2020. It needs to at least cycle and be instant speed for it to be playable, right? You can't just 1-for-1 someone.
I mean, that like, though, you're right. Like, and it probably, if they do print some kind of Stone Rain, it'd probably do something like that. And on top of that, make them lose like 5 damage or lose 5 health. But like, I do think that, like, if they ever reprint a Stone Rain, it would just, you couldn't play like the fair Magic game plan anymore. Like, in Standard, in older formats, sure, I can understand, I guess, but like, in Standard, if everyone's just blowing up each other's lands and dropping Uros, that means now you have to actually be playing those cards. You could not be like, where like me, where I and numerous other people who are playing Standard and try to avoid Growth Spiral and avoid playing Uro.
Oh, speaking of which, we forgot to totally talk about Historic today, but we can talk about it next cast. We had a big metagame shift with Jumpstart. I'm seeing Uros and Growth Spirals all over Historic and Goblins, but yeah, next cast we can talk about Historic. Dilton Murkison, there's a theory on the Pioneer subreddit that the reason Inverter wasn't banned was because it's reprinted in Double Masters. They had to put it in 6 months ahead of time. Thoughts?
I don't know why they'd reprint that, to be honest with you, right? Like, it wasn't like Inverter was crazy expensive. I mean, I don't think it's in there. I hope it's not in there. It feels like kind of like a dud reprint.
Didn't we have this happen with Splinter Twin? Wasn't Splinter Twin banned and then showed up in the next Master set? Or am I misremembering?
There was something like
this?
that.
No.
So I don't think Wizards would not ban a card like Inverter or whatever just because it was coming up in a future set.
All right, next question. Keebler117. Pretty sure a while back Richard said playing on Arena didn't feel like playing Magic. Has that changed at all? If not, what needs to happen on Arena? Did I ever say that? I feel that's a
I
sad
don't
thing to
remember.
be saying. Maybe I'm saying playing Standard doesn't feel like playing Magic, but I don't know about Arena. But what are your thoughts on Arena? 3 years, I don't know when it was released, like 2 years, 3 years post. I know there were a lot of concerns with it. Best of one, auto tapping, things like that. What is your thoughts on Arena today? Is it real Magic? Does it feel like real Magic?
It to me, it does. It still feels like real Magic. The only thing that it's missing now is like the whole gathering aspect, I guess, like the face to face, like just meeting people and whatnot. But I mean, I don't think we're supposed to be doing that anyways right now, so that works out perfectly. It, like, otherwise, I mean, when it came out, best of one, yeah, that was different Magic. I wouldn't say it wasn't real Magic then. I would just say it's different Magic. Auto tapper dunking on people is always funny, but like, because it does happen to me all the time. But, you know, like, it feels like real Magic to me.
I will say, as far as gameplay, I think I would say it feels like real Magic. The economy, on the other hand, does not feel like real Magic, and actually still doesn't feel good. A lot of the same concerns I had when they announced Arena, like dusting cards and being able to get cards, a lot of those keep cropping up and have recently been re-highlighted with the release of Jumpstart and how that has gone. So gameplay-wise, yes, it feels like real Magic. Economy-wise, doesn't feel like real Magic.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, yeah, is just like the economy. I definitely agree there. Because, I mean, I can at least, get rid of my cards in some way, right? If I didn't want them. But, yeah, like, other than that, like, gameplay-wise, it does feel like real Magic.
Yeah, I think gameplay-wise, it's fine. Probably faster than real Magic. It does combat math for you. It auto-taps, things like that. It shuffles. I can't imagine playing Nexus
Cat.
in paper.
Or Cat.
Cat
decks don't, like, that one is a little bit trickier on Arena.
They just need to save targets or something. Do some kind of thing to help. But in general, it's close enough. It's kind of like playing Magic Online and playing Splinter Twin or something. It was pretty obnoxious. But I think it will improve over time. But yeah, the economy is a thing. Like acquiring cards, acquiring a new deck is a pain. So yeah. Last question. Heck boy, nowadays creatures need enter the battlefields, leaves the battlefields, or persistent effects to be viable. What is the baseline power and toughness, and what keywords, non-persistent combat abilities does it have to be viable? Poor Gargaroth, it is no questing beast. I think Rotting Regisaur, 3 mana 7/6, not played without an Embercleave. So your creature can be as big as possible. It doesn't matter. It needs to be it needs to have some kind of keyword ability on it or a combo with something.
I mean, I think there has to be a line. Like if there was a 1 mana 20/20, that would see play. I mean, there is some amount of stats where you would get to that point. Is it a 3 mana? What if it was a 3 mana 10/6? I think, would you play that? It's a 2-shot attacker. I think so. There is a line. Where exactly that line is, maybe it is a 3 mana 10 power creature or something, but the bar is incredibly high for a creature that doesn't have haste or an enter the battlefield trigger or some sort of protection, hexproof, or some way to protect itself, Dreamtrawler style effect or whatever.
So I mean, let's say Rotting Regisaur, 3 mana 7/6, no downside. If there was no Embercleave, would you play it?
I mean, would I warp my deck around it to include it in decks? Probably not. If I was playing mono black aggro, probably.
Yeah.
But would it be a staple? I gotta figure out a way to splash Regisaur because it's the best thing going in standard? No, definitely not.
That's
so it would be like Gutter
say.
Bones. You're playing the colors, you might as well play it, but you're not doing an Uro. You're not warping your whole deck around to include it in your deck.
Yeah. That's where I would land, I think.
That's so crazy. A 3 mana 7/6, no downside too.
I mean, 3 mana 8/8. 3 mana
bounce by
9/9.
Teferi.
I don't think you would play 3 mana 10/10. Actually, I don't think you would. Would you?
If it was just a vanilla 10/10 for 3, I mean, I'd look at it.
You would have to start playing things that give it trample. You'd have to play other cards to synergize with it. You wouldn't just play it as is because it would just get chumped or blocked, and then you would die.
So let me ask you this, Richard, as a Jund player. What would you think about Tarmogoyf in standard? Would Tarmogoyf just be bad or medium?
Medium.
So if it was say it was a 2 mana 4/5, I think you would play it in standard, without any restrictions. But because you can't fill your graveyard in standard, that's not possible. But I think a 2 mana 4/5. I think the lower your CMC, the lower the bar. A 1 mana 4/4, I think everyone would play. So I think a 2 mana 4/5 would be playable in standard.
I mean, what about a 2 mana 5/4 that already exists in standard? I mean, I don't know. I think Tarmogoyf would be medium. Just 2 mana 4/5, I guess, because it'll be guaranteed to be a 4/5, but then it's not Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Okay, well then 2 mana 0/1 if you want to play standard.
Yeah, in standard, I think it'll be at best a 3/4 or something like that. Unless you're playing, what is it, the Merfolk Secret Keeper thing, and then you aim it at yourself. and hope that you hit enough different types.
Actually, I don't think Tarmogoyf would be played. I take that back. It's not good enough because someone else just does like 3-drop 5/5, right? And like you're stonewalled, and then you're not actually aggroed enough to like actually beat control and combo decks. So the existence of the 3-mana 5/5 kills the 2-mana 4/5. But if Lovestruck Beast did not exist, then you could actually play Tarmogoyf. I think that's enough power for you to do something, as long as the other mid-range decks don't outclass you like the following turn.
Which I feel like they will. Like, just paying 2 mana for even a 4/5 is like, this is great on turn 2, but then once it goes to like their turn 3, they're taking off, and you're never gonna see. Like, the Uro's gonna gain them all the life, and then you're gonna be having this 4/5, and they're gonna have like Nissa Ugin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is Wizards to test and push the bar. Wait, what is the biggest vanilla creature we'll see on each point in the curve, and see if they're actually played anywhere?
Actually, let's add on to that. Do you actually think though that like Tarmogoyf is going to get reprinted in Standard?
No,
I think it will eventually.
Terrible.
Like, okay,
it's so bad. How are you gonna make it work? Like, it has to be in a deck with another graveyard mechanic, like Delirium or something like that.
What if Zendikar has it, or maybe Lurgoyf Tribal eventually comes out of Zendikar?
I think with like a graveyard, if there's like a Golgari graveyard theme to a set, you could put it in and it would probably be fine. And I think the reason that I think they would do it is just because I think people would be hyped for it just because of like Tarmogoyf's price and track record. So I think there would be a lot of like excitement about Tarmogoyf, even though kind of like Grim Tutor or whatever, people are going to be like, wow, it's a $200 card. And then like no one's going to play it because it's not actually that good. But I think people will still be like hyped that it was reprinted in a Standard set and the price dropped.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we use Tarmogoyf to sell Masters packs, but now that Tarmogoyf sucks, you can't sell Masters packs, so you got to sell Standard packs.
Pretty soon it'll be downgraded to common and selling like pauper precons or something.
You know what? If it was common to draft, I would still skip it. Like, this card sucks. It's like last pick in draft. This is terrible. All right. Thanks to everyone who sent in fish mail. If you have questions, send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail, and we'll get to your questions on air.
And that, I believe, brings us to the end of episode 286 of the MTG Goldfish podcast. So, Richard Cribb, thanks for hanging out. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Card Conduit for supporting the show. So, we will be back next week to talk about whatever goes down in the world of Magic. Until then, have a spectacular week, and this is the crew signing out.